Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to an edition of Boston Concessions. I'm your host, Topher. It's been an ill-advised minute. I feel like I haven't been here. And it's true. I haven't been on. Life has basically taken me for like a crazy downward spiral. But going through a couple things and looking at notes that I have and everything that I'm basically going to talk about today. As much as I want to, I'm kind of going to ignore the Bruins. I'm going to ignore the Celtics, but I'm going to bring us to basically a little bit of an enjoyment having to deal with the Patriots. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I'm hearing a lot of chatter. And the chatter and everything I've basically been seeing has been, well, a lot about what the Patriots are going through. We all have growing pains. I mean, hell, I've had a lot. I know probably a lot of other people have had a lot. But tell me about these growing pains without telling me about growing pains. Bottom line of it, the growing pains have happened due to the fact of Bill Belichick running amok with the Patriots, adding everything between, the Mac Jones era, bringing up a lot of protocols that basically broke down the Patriots and their glorious dynasty. And everybody in the NFL was happy. Hey, the Patriots are done. Nobody cares. Hooray. Do they? Last I checked, a lot of people do care. And I think a lot of people actually make that distinction for it because us as New Englanders, we do give a crap. It's our team. So looking back at what a lot of people have been stating and looking back at a lot of things that have been going on, one of the things that people are looking at is, oh, well, the Patriots had a soft schedule. Okay. So I want to break this down very easily because a lot of things that I've basically gone over. The Patriots are 10-2. Great. Was 10-2 easy? No. Was 10-2 something that they basically came up with and said, hey, we're going to win these games and we're going to run amok? No. The first loss was against Las Vegas. Las Vegas looked strong at the beginning of the year. They had their rookie running back. He didn't really make a whole lot of difference. But the Patriots as themselves were starting to find their footing. Okay, great. So what did they do? They lost to Vegas. If you probably took this team now and played Vegas, Vegas would be destroyed. Let's go to the secondary aspect of that. Their second loss against Pittsburgh. Now, we'll go before Aaron Rodgers was injured, so this way Mason Rudolph is not in there. The bottom line of that, when you look at it, if the Patriots in their mountain probably played Pittsburgh now, they'd run them over. It would probably be within a couple points, but Drake May would probably throw up a good amount of stuff, passing to everybody he does, making Hunter Henry look good, Keishon Boutte coming back. There's a lot of aspects that come to mind with everything that you look at. So would there be a difference in that game? Yeah. And the part I'm basically going to state that a lot of people will hate, the Patriots would probably be 12-0. Topher, how do you come up with that? That's very easy. when you look at the Patriots, did they play an abysmal Dolphins team for their first win? Yes. I'll go into that in a minute because that that just makes me laugh. When you turn 1-3 and you look at where your losses have come around, the losses were against teams that are slumping. Pittsburgh doesn't look as bad, but Vegas looks almost as bad as Miami. Take that with a grain of salt. But I want to go back to that original piece, the soft schedule. I've heard everybody say, oh, they get a soft schedule. Oh, yeah, nobody could. Look at what Kansas City is dealing with and how hard they have it. I've stated for almost 2 to 3 years, prepare for the destruction of Patrick Mahomes. Prepare for the destruction of the Chiefs. I wasn't just saying it. You can go on Twitter. You can go on my personal Instagram. You can go anywhere on my Facebook, for crying out loud. The aspect is the Chiefs were to implode. They're probably not making the playoffs. Did they have a hard schedule? I don't know. Did they? Did the Patriots have an easy schedule? Did they? Let's break down the factors, because I'll sit here and the one thing I will do willingly is I will look at the Patriots schedule for this year. Okay? So, right now, I'm looking at this schedule. That's preseason, that's last year. Okay, the Raiders, they were supposed to make a significant changes. They got Pete Carroll. They brought in Geno Smith. They changed personnel. Everybody was hoping to the fact that this was going to be a key aspect to changing the Raiders. The Raiders were supposed to be playoff contenders. They went out and they drafted Ashton Gentry. And he's made a significant difference in their run game. How does that factor in with everything? Tough team? Yeah. So the Raiders won 20-13. Soft? Not at the beginning of the year. So let's go again. Patriots Dolphins. Dolphins being a train wreck. Keyword, train wreck. Look up Mike McDaniel. And by the way, look at my credentials. I've talked about Mike McDaniels being garbage. Not because I hate the Dolphins. Because he did not build this team. He, in each manner of the word, did not build this team. Okay? And a lot of things that I've looked at, yeah, it states that he didn't build the team. Brian Flores built this team. And when he said Tua was a quote-unquote soft quarterback, he didn't want him to be the quarterback. He wanted to go get a quarterback. He was fired. Put in Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel looks like a winner. Yeah. Powerful dude. Trash. Pure, unadulterated. Been sitting in the kitchen in an 85-degree kitchen for 7 to 10 days. Trash. And Mike McDaniel's starting to look like it. I really expected him to be fired before the end of the year. But I'm not surprised that at the end of the year, the Dolphins make the decision to move on. I've stated that. Brian Flores, proper coach. He did exactly what Mike Vrabel is doing to the Patriots. He put culture in Miami. By the way, I'm a kid from Boston talking about Miami. Oh, that's right, too. I'm a fan of the game besides, besides being where I am. Oh, my bad. My bad. I forgot where I was talking about. But going back to it. Patriots, Dolphins. Dolphins couldn't even fathom it. Yeah, they lost by what? 6? Okay. Wonderful. Patriots did something they haven't done in a while. They went to Miami. They got a win. Loved it. Hey, let's move on to the other one. Steelers, Patriots. Again, you're finding your footing. You're finding your methods. You're finding ways to do things. You're playing a Steelers defense that is pretty good. You're playing a Steelers offense that is, again, pretty good. There's nothing wrong in that category. 21-14, you came up a little short. Was it a blowout? No. Was it a one-score game? Yeah. That's not a soft win, dude. That's 1. So at that point, they're 1-3. All right. They go up against the Panthers. The Panthers right now look like a decent team. They're putting some things together. But the Patriots went in and blew out the Panthers. Why? Because everybody said, oh, the Panthers. Well, they made them look it. Hey, where do we go after that? On October 5th. Oh, that's right. We played the Bills. Josh Allen. MVP. Big boy. Buffalo. I think written up to be one of the characteristics of the playoffs this year. Beat the Bills by 3. So Drake May showed his stroke. That's 2 straight wins. Look at that. Patriots went in and played the Saints. Saints have a pretty decent defense, but they don't have it all together. Look at the team in general. You have players, you have certain personnel, you have certain things that make things work. And in this case, yes, the Saints put up 19 points. They were still 6 shy of tying and a touchdown of winning. Sorry. Patriots played the Titans. Again, Titans aren't horrible per se, but they have certain factors that make them weak. Like they're rebuilding, they're restructuring, they're doing certain things. Plus, this has probably been circled as a game where Mike Vrabel wanted to go in and make a statement. Can you blame Coach for that? No. 31-13. His defense did the job. Drake May got it done. Everybody did their part. Let's go to the Browns. Okay? Like one of the videos I love watching on TikTok. And we're the Cleveland Browns. That's right. They are. 32-13. Now, are they a good defensive team? Yeah. They have quarterbacks. They have running backs struggle. They have wide receivers that come up a little rough. Myles Garrett throwing 5 sacks, looking like a champion. But Patriots win? Yeah. Not bad. The game that everybody talked about. Oh, they're going to play the Falcons. They're going to lose. Okay. Let's play Michael Penix Jr. Sure. Played the Falcons. Drake London was in the game. Oh, you don't have everybody. Listen, things happen. You know, I'd love for it to be where it is and everybody came back to where they were supposed to be. Guess what? Patriots won by 1. Still a win. And if you're saying it's soft when you play a quote-unquote playoff caliber team in the Falcons with Bijan Robinson, well, sorry, you still won by 1. Still going forward. The other challenge, the Buccaneers. Well, you're going into a well-coached team, well-defensive strategy, well-done offensive strategy. Baker Mayfield is the quarterback where, the Browns wrote him off. And look at him now. Patriots won by 5? Are you sure about that? Oh, yeah. Oh, look. The following week. Jets, Patriots. Are the Jets a dumpster fire? Sure. Are you going to sit there and blame Justin Fields? Sure. Scapegoat. Very easily. Do you have any motivation going forward? Hell no. You're the Jets. Even your team that roots for you will say you're dumpster. Pure and simple. Dropped a match. There you go. Fire lit. Okay? The worst part about it is when you probably light a match and drop it in a dumpster in New York, talking about the Jets, the flames are probably green. That's the sad part. But, hey, they went in, they played. Then you go into the Sunday. Or this past Sunday, I should say. Patriots, Bengals. Patriots won by 6. Was it great? No. Was it messy? Yeah. Should it have been there? No. Did the Patriots deserve to lose this game? In some ways, when they started, yes. Some of these teams, especially when I look at them, a lot of these teams are not in any which way, shape, or form bad teams. They sometimes have bad coaching. The personnel is not what it should be, but the talent is there. Or the talent is not there and they're coached wonderfully. But sometimes a team comes up short. So I thought of this when I'm sitting here writing my notes. How can a team have a soft schedule? Well, when the league puts everything together, do they sit there and go, oh yeah, they're going to be 0-5, they're going to be 0-7. This team is actually going to have no offense at all. The defense is going to be absolutely trash garbage, and nobody's really going to care. Is that ever said? No. Who in their fucking right mind sits there and goes, oh, we're going to give them the toughest schedule in the world. It's going to be like a cloud. Are you that brain dead? Looking at you for a minute. And anybody watching on YouTube, you're seeing the fact I'm looking at my camera like, duh. But those watching on a podcast, you're probably figuring it out. How can somebody sit here and look at the Dolphins that are supposed to be properly coached, properly done as a team, well put together, Tyreek Hill, Jason Waddle, Tua Tagovailoa, Crane, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, as the running back, the offensive line they have, the defensive prowess they have, the put together team. Should they have lost that game? No. Henceforth, why they only lost by 6. Go into the Steelers. They only lost by a touchdown. Do the math. The Raiders had a lucky damn game. Is it possible in the NFL? Yep. The Titans. Everybody expected Cam Ward to come out and do something, but the team is not well put together. They got rid of a coach of the year, for crying out loud. They got rid of the guy that got them to the playoffs. Where did you expect them to be? Mars? Or on vacation? I guess you can vacation to Mars? Would you want to? Probably not. The Saints. What is bad about the Saints? They have an amazing wide receiver core. They have one of still the top tier running backs in Alvin Kamara. Where is this team soft? They're not. They lost by 6, which is a touchdown. If they got the touchdown and kicked the extra damn point, guess what? The Patriots lose. The Cleveland Browns. Yes, I love that kid. The Cleveland Browns, 32-13. Sure, Myles Garrett got a sacks. Yes, Shedeur Sanders was not playing, which probably wouldn't have even made a lick of difference. And I'll get into that in a minute. Okay, great. Falcons, Patriots. Again, only one. You got a top running back. You've got a lot of things going for you. Don't sell it short. Don't sit there and state garbage. Patriots, Bengals. A lot of people messed up. Will Campbell might be out for like a little bit. Hey. Point of it is you scoped to win and now you're going into New York. Look. The bottom line of what I look at, okay? The Patriots went out and got Mike Vrabel. Do we know that? Yes. You got Stephon Diggs. What did people think Stephon Diggs was going to be? Well, they thought he was going to be a shell of himself. The problem is that when Vrabel was hired, people still expected the Patriots to throw up mediocre numbers. Did they expect Drake May to be in the MVP category? No. Talk to anybody who was watching the preseason. Okay? The Giants destroying the Patriots. The Patriots just scoping out a win against the Vikings. Destroying the Commanders, which is another team. You know, if the Commanders were on the schedule, it would be a soft team again. Because they don't have Jaden Daniels. They don't have this. Then everybody playing them. What? The Commanders were supposed to be the front runners to go to the Super Bowl and win. Jaden Daniels is showing second-year jitters, injuries. I don't want to say it reminds me of RG3, because I'm hoping not. I like Jaden Daniels. Great quarterback. But this is a guy who led you to the promised land. And again, this is a preseason game. What are you looking at? For real. Your remaining stats for your games. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have the Giants, the Bills, the Ravens, the Jets, the Patriots. I mean, the Dolphins. I read that wrong. The Giants, they have quarterback issues. Who the hell knows what they're going to do? But the Patriots have a top 10 defense in the league? Get to that in a minute, too. Hey, the Bills and the Patriots. How are the Bills playing? Do we need to go there? Ravens and Patriots. I know what people go, well, Lamar Jackson. What does Lamar win again? Oh, right. So it's Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry gets to go over and hug Mike Vrabel. You'll probably see it. Beginning of the game, end of game, he's going to hug him. Patriots, Jets, I don't even have to talk about that. Dolphins, Patriots, I don't care if the Dolphins are on like a little win streak. Again, I'm not talking about that. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3 more wins, which will put them at 13, and 2 possibilities. Here's a scary part that nobody wants to like even think about. What if the Patriots win their next 5? Now they're 15-2. Off the season they had last year in the Gerard Mayo experiment that didn't work. How is this team different? It's simple. If you look at Gerard Mayo versus Mike Vrabel, Gerard Mayo wants to be the guy in the locker room. He wants to be their friend. He wants to be their confidant. He wants to be that guy that holds their hand, makes things wonderful. He's not any of that. Mike Vrabel wants to hold people accountable. He doesn't care. He wants to be that coach that's there for you, but he also wants to help you succeed. He's had those stepping stones. He's done it. And a lot of people, when Mike Vrabel was coming around to being the coach, what was one of the things that people looked at? Oh, well, Mike Vrabel being the coach, that's bad. Why? He became the coach of Tennessee. He took on Ryan Tannehill and a young Derrick Henry. And he built culture in Tennessee using Ryan Tannehill, a guy that Dolphins fans wrote off. A decently well quarterback, not MVP or, Hall of Fame status, but a quarterback that should have went in and got you wins. He should have got you something. Ryan Tannehill was not bad. He did. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick is still better. But Tannehill was also a good quarterback. I'm not saying he was great. I'm not saying throw him a Victory Day parade. He was good. It's like looking and saying, hey, Vinny Testaverde was good for the Jets. Exactly. So when you look and view this stuff, what happens? Was Mike Vrabel horrible for what he did in the Titans? No. He built a winning team. He built a structure team. And did Mike Vrabel implode it? No. Ownership imploded the Titans. Ownership destroyed that culture that Mike Vrabel put there. That's what got Mike Vrabel out of Dodge. That's why I still think to the fact that Mike Vrabel took a year off of coaching to summarize what he was doing. And I think that's where the Gerard Mayo experiment came in. But ultimately, writing was on the wall. Vrabel was to be the coach. And this is different from if you look at Mac Jones versus Drake May. Mac Jones, his first year, had the current offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels. And he thrived. Josh McDaniels used Kendrick Bourne properly. He used Hunter Henry properly. What was year 2? Matt Patricia, and I don't even remember what the hell his name was, but he came from the Giants. But he was an idiot. But they were Bills guys. They destroyed him. They thought Bailey Zappi was going to be their savior. Ooh, Bailey Zappi. Where's Ziphead now? Who knows? I think he plays for the Browns. Or plays for a different... I know he was on the Kansas City team that was supposed to win the championship. Yeah, that's right too, he didn't. Don't sit here and tell me this Patriots team is soft. They've all gone through perseverance. But the question I have here is, what makes this team strong? Coaching. What makes it strong? Look at the coaching aspects and look how Mike Vrabel talks. Look at some of the videos that you see on TikTok, on NFL, on Patriots.com. Look at all that stuff. And tell me that you wouldn't want to play for that guy. Tell me if Mike Vrabel came in, if you were having a horrible time, down in the dumps, needed to figure out life, needed to figure out things going on, needed to build yourself up with confidence and everything in between. Okay? Mike Vrabel coming in and being that guy. Your life wouldn't get better? Your life wouldn't turn around? He'd ride you in a more proper manner to give you the benefit of the doubt, to give you everything you want and then some. That's Mike Vrabel. That's the coach. Now look at the offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels. Look at what Josh McDaniels did with Tom Brady. Look at what he did with Mac Jones. And I think he's doing 3 for 3 with look at what he's doing with Drake May. Do I blame Josh McDaniels for whatever the hell happened in LA? No. LA in itself shot itself in the foot. And I think to the fact that they didn't want to take somebody that was willing to tell them, hey, tough love in certain circumstances is what's going to get you somewhere. But they had a believer in the other coach, and I think they wanted him in that position. So you can't fault McDaniels for being there. Couple choice words? Sure. But I'm not going to sit there and say to the fact that that was all McDaniels. Sorry. What also makes this team strong? The fact that when they started to win after week 3, the win in week 4, the win in week 5, okay, beating the Bills, beating the Saints, beating the Falcons, the haters, the Patriots haters, the ones who hated the dynasty, the ones who lived through the Brady era, the ones who said, oh my God, my team's playing the Patriots this week. Oh God, we're going to get crushed. They're scared because they think that's back. It's 1 year. But yeah, it's also Drake May. But it's Mike Vrabel. It's Stephon Diggs. It's Ramondre Stevenson. It's Trevion Henderson. It's Will Campbell. It's Marcus Jones. Insert any other Patriots player here. That's what you're looking at. That's what's making this team phenomenal. You can't sit here and tell me that this team doesn't look beautiful. They're making people question who they are. In that locker room, they know exactly who they are. When I see videos on TikTok, when I see videos on YouTube, when I see videos on Instagram, and the only thing I'm seeing is, oh, well, I know that like it's the Patriots and they're going to lose this game. Oh, I think everybody at this point, I'll just say it, I don't care. There's probably 85% of us that have TikTok installed on their phone. When you take a dump, you're watching TikTok. I do it. I don't care. Judge me. I am the guy that talks about the Patriots and watches TikTok while taking a dump. What more can you say? It's something you do. It's something your friends do. Okay? As long as you wash your hands, who cares? There's nothing wrong with it. It's entertainment value in the bathroom. Great. Topher, what does this have to do with it? Everything. When I sit there and I watch videos and I scroll up, I'm seeing kitties. I'm seeing people being arrested for being idiots because they get pulled over at a traffic stop. They don't want to give their IDs. And then I'm seeing whiners. It's not whiners. Okay? We have to bring it to the attention that it needs. They are whiners. Topher, why are they whiners? That's a very good question. They root against the Patriots. They're either Kansas City fans, they're Dolphins fans, they're Bills fans, they're, I believe I saw some Falcon fans. Jets fans, 49ers fans. I saw like 2 of those. Just insert the fan base of like whoever loves these people. And they watch the Patriots, and the first thing they basically do is they go, oh yeah, it's the Patriots. Watch us win. Like, and then all of a sudden Drake May throws a touchdown. Or insert the Bengals game where, you know, I'm hearing how Joe Flacco is, he's the veteran. He's the guy that's not going to make mistakes. And you get Drake May that throws a pick 6. Okay. Drake May made a mistake. Ooh. First quarter, first half jitters, whatever the hell happened, it did. And then we've got the veteran, the presence, the Joe Flacco experiment, which I, in his younger career, hated Joe Flacco because I thought he was just a makeshift quarterback. But when I saw him getting bounced around and saw the potential he has everywhere, I had to take it back. Joe Flacco is an experienced quarterback. But when you have a pick 6 from Marcus Jones because the veteran was supposed to read the presence right, and Marcus Jones made the veteran look like canned soup, soggy style, that's kind of trash. Everybody wants to give pumping rainbows to what it is. And Drake May came out, and the offense came out in the second half and showed exactly who they were. Mind you, they played some pretty heavy running backs. And the only person to break 100 yards as a running back was Chase Brown. I can look at all the games, and I'm looking at it right now. Chase Brown had 107 yards. He is the only person this year against the Patriots to have over, we'll say 60 yards. Because a lot of them don't even sniff 100. But again, let's look at the schedule. Alvin Kamara had 31 yards. Now, I'm not saying the total out of like 4 or 5 people, will equal the 100. But when you keep everybody limited, I mean, I'll even go into the Bills game. James Cook had 49 yards. Josh Allen had 53. Combined, sure, 100 yards. But James Cook isn't a pushover. He's a premier back. Alvin Kamara is a premier back. Bijan Robinson, I've seen him run over defenses like crazy. Make them look stupid. Leave their jockey strap at the 20-yard line while he's downfield. 46 yards. I'm again looking at these. Devon Achane for the Dolphins, 30 yards. Malik Washington, 23. I don't even think the Titans have. Well, they have Tony Pollard. He only got 18 yards. What does that say? Breece Hall for the Jets. And Breece Hall is pretty damn good. 58 yards. I'm going through this like this is making a difference. Buccaneers, Sean Tucker, who's had some pretty decent games. And Rachaad White. Well, Sean Tucker had 53 yards. 53 yards. The Raiders, Ashton Gentry, 38 yards. That was for the Raiders. Steelers, Jaylen Warren, 47 yards. Let's see, who am I missing? The Browns. They had 6 people rushing. Malachi Corley, 31 yards. Panthers. Chuba Hubbard. Rico Dowd, who was supposed to be like the stud now. Oh, Chuba Hubbard, 49 yards. Rico Dowd, 32 yards. You're stopping the run game. You're taking the run game out and you're making these guys pass. What do you think that does to offenses? What do you think that does to defenses? What do you think it does to the game? You're going in there and dictating how you're controlling everything by shutting down the run. That's a way to win. But what is the coach doing? He's not only telling you how to play and giving you the tools to utilize, but in this grand scheme of things, is believing in you, giving you positive tools. That culture is warm, inviting, and everybody drinks the Kool-Aid. But is it just Mike Vrabel? No. What is ESPN saying? What is NFL.com saying? Hell, let's look locally. What's the Boston Herald saying? What is Channel 5 saying? What's Fox Sports saying? Stefon Diggs is probably one of the most upended people to take on working with the wide receivers and believe in them, motivate them, make them better players. He is branching off. He is making a partnership with Drake May. He is making a partnership with Mike Vrabel. He is being a role model. Anybody, by the way, notice where CJ Stroud is? Anyone? CJ Stroud is non-existent right now. He might even be injured. But CJ Stroud disappeared when Diggs left. What does that say to you? If he's injured, it screams 30 times more. But think of that aspect. He started to go downhill when Diggs got injured. But you also have the buildup and the presence of Stefon Diggs on the sidelines. so you can be a motivator while injured. It's possible. What does that scream now? What does that scream in any which way that you're looking at? Well, it screams to the fact of what Diggs is doing. Because whatever the Patriots paid him, they're getting a steal. Do you think he's going to be cut? I remember when I said, like, this deal is the perfect prime thing that people want in order to better everything going on. And the one thing I was met with was, no, this is going to be horrible. People are going to complain about this. He's going to be dropped before the season because he's not going to be able to cut it. He's not going to make the team. And they have much more experience, like better wide receivers that are younger and faster. I love how when I review a lot of things, people look at strength as one thing. They see it as a bulk mass lump that basically empowers everything going on around them. Strength is, in essence, to some people, explaining your character as you're this intimidating force. Sometimes the gentlest giant is exactly that. There's a lot of people that can be silent and move mountains. Look at monks in certain ways. They're quiet, they're focused, they don't talk a lot, but they do, in every which way, shape, or form, hold the strongest values to how they can defeat you. The Patriots are doing, again, just that. They're working as a team. They're designating themselves as a team. Everybody lifts everybody up, especially when they're down. And it starts with the coach. That was what, especially during press conference of Gerard Mayo and how he carried himself, I still feel that Gerard Mayo got a little bit burned by Belichick himself. And he tried to be probably about 30% Belichick, 20% himself. And then 50% what the Patriots fan base wanted, with the support of his team. Mike Vrabel is being Mike Vrabel. He's not being Coach Belichick. He's not being what the Patriots fan base wants. He's being what the Patriots are. You have an MVP candidate in Drake Maye. Drake Maye has come out and had, I don't want to say it's an anomaly, but it might be. Who knows? But it's 1 year. But was Drake Maye horrible in year one? No. But has he come out flashing the leather in year two? You gave him some weapons. You put an offensive line behind him. In front of him, I should say. You drafted Will Campbell, who's been a monumental piece. And his injury stirs questions. Is the offensive line going to be able to hold and protect Drake Maye properly? There was an excerpt in the game when I was watching it. One of the comments was, when Drake Maye was scrambling, the comment behind the color analyst was, not a lot of people draw to this portion of his game. If you don't know Drake Maye can scramble, you don't know football. Drake Maye was scrambling in North Carolina. Drake Maye was scrambling in high school. This is a part of his game. Not only to the fact that he can move, but he moves around and is becoming a long ball assassin. Why? Because he has over 50% accuracy of throwing the long ball. He's a top tier guy in the league to throw that ball with over 50% accuracy. He's not just doing it to do it. He does it. And he's making mistakes. We're human. But his calculated mistakes are what are making this team a little bit more fundamental and also fun to watch. He's more or less the quarterback that you want to lead the team because he's making everything he's doing effortlessly. Like it's a symphony. When he tucks and moves the ball and he goes around and all of a sudden comes into somebody and throws it, shuffle passes, dishes, things he's doing to get the ball to his tight ends, his wideouts, his running backs. And if you look at the offensive line, yes, there are still breaks. Everybody's going to be able to get through there from time to time. But he's making the most out of it by being exactly who he is. He's being a quarterback that is leading the team. And nobody can say to the fact he's not making mistakes. There's always going to be mistakes. Matt Stafford right now is probably one of the other guys who's the runner-up with Drake Maye and the MVP candidate conversation. What was funny, I think it was like week 6. Oops. I think it was week 6 or week 7. If anybody heard that, don't worry. Everything's fine. Week 6 or week 7, I'm looking at so much of Drake Maye talk being the MVP. Matt Stafford being the MVP. Baker Mayfield being the MVP. Josh Allen being a portion of the MVP because he was actually having good games. And then some schmuck. Oh, Patrick Mahomes, like, shut up. Patrick Mahomes is not having an MVP season. I believe if I even look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they're third in the AFC West. Trying to even look at, like, okay, they played the Colts. They're 6-5. So they finally broke over the hump of being, like, they're over a 500 team now. Patrick Mahomes playing the Colts didn't even have a touchdown. Oh, wow. That's funny. It's a shame. Because Patrick Mahomes was 29 for 46, 352 yards. Had an interception. Didn't have a passing touchdown. So he was good to move the ball around. Rashee Rice, 141 yards. Xavier Worthy, 59 yards. Travis Kelce, 43 yards. Brashad Smith, 31. Kareem Hunt, 26. Hollywood Brown, 10 yards. Juju Smith-Schuster, 8 yards. Tyquan Thornton, not even a dream. That in itself, not only are you playing the Colts, who are 8-3, who they themselves are having a monumental year. Daniel Jones, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, not even sacked. Had 181 yards. That's great. It took overtime to win the game. But you know something? People are going to say that was a tough win because the Chiefs have a hard schedule. They don't have a soft schedule. Go back for a minute and someone tell me at the beginning of the year where anybody thought the Indianapolis Colts were going to be sitting there 8-3, not only being 8-3, where are they standings? The Colts are top of the AFC South. Top. You want to tell me that the Colts, being the top team, they have a better record than the Ravens, better record than the Steelers, better record than the Bills, the Dolphins. They have a better record than the Chargers. Somebody can't sit here and tell me that the Patriots having a soft schedule, when you look at teams, the Bills were supposed to be dominant in the AFC East. The Dolphins were supposed to push the run for the money, especially for where they are. The Ravens were supposed to be a top-tier team. The Steelers, they went out and got Aaron Rodgers. They got DK Metcalf. They were supposed to be a top-tier team. The Bengals, granted to the fact that they've lost Joe Burrow, the Jaguars were supposed to be the team of teams. The Chargers, well, they're 7-4. The Broncos are 9-2. Did anybody expect the Broncos to be a powerhouse with Bo Nix behind them? No. Nobody sit here and tell me that there is a soft schedule made for anybody. Because I'll tell you one thing that'll shut you up instantly. You ready? People, the sports fanatics. It can't be a soft schedule when everybody starts 0-0. Before preseason, 0-0. When the season starts, before the first game is played, 0-0. Does anybody know how the team's going to act? No. Tell me abnormalities right now. Did anybody predict that Drake May and Bo Nix would have premier seasons? No. Were they going to be good? Yes. Were they going to blow their expectations out of the water? Well, people that basically sniff their jockey itch, yeah. The Bills, dominant team? Yes, they're dominant. Hey, by the way, where were the Kansas City Chiefs supposed to be this year? They were supposed to be on the mountaintop, getting ready to come back from loss against the Eagles. Where were the Jaguars supposed to be? About where they are. Were the Colts supposed to be as high? Was Daniel Jones supposed to be the knockout quarterback of the year? Yeah, that's right. I said it. The knockout quarterback of the year. Daniel Jones, and someone can quote me later on, Daniel Jones, according to people, when he played for the Giants, he was a fart. A fart. Wet, dry, either way, he was a fart on the groundkeeper's pants. That's what people in New York thought about Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is now in Indy. And he's having a season. It's amazing what the right proper etiquette can do for you. Commander, same thing. Supposed to be the king of kings. Well, when your prince gets sidelined, you kind of have a 3-8 record and you look like bunk. You look like someone picked their nose and left it underneath the desk. Gross. The Cowboys, 5-5. Somebody call Jerry Jones and ask him, are you building 5-5 teams? Are you building teams that just get in through, the wild card in lose in playoffs? Tell me. Did anybody think the Rams and the Seahawks were going to be ginormous teams? The Seahawks, losing Pete Carroll, losing Geno Smith, went out and got Sam Darnold. Rebuilt the factor of what they were doing for their front office. Look at them now, 8-3. By the way, look at the 49ers. I'll bring up the 49ers for one simple reason. Mac Jones. Brock Purdy goes down with a toe injury. Mac Jones fills in for Kyle Shanahan's offense, which Kyle Shanahan then goes, well, this is the guy I wanted from the get-go that I couldn't get. Now what? 8-4. Thanks to an intricate part in some games played by Mac Jones. The Buccaneers, 6-5. But they're a tough team. They are. The Vikings were supposed to be J.J. McCarthy coming out of nowhere, showing what he's got. He's sniffing the bottom. The Bears, I know they're coached well, but I don't buy the Kool-Aid into the Bears. I don't buy Caleb Williams. I don't. Bo Nix, I'm a believer in. I will believe in Bo Nix. Jaden Daniels, we've seen it. Drake May, I don't need to say anything. Cam Ward is probably going to be a really good quarterback. You know who's coming around that I've actually been loving watching some highlights on him? Bryce Young. He's not making as many mistakes, but he's getting smarter as a quarterback. And I love that tenacity in young quarterbacks when they start to blossom. Josh Allen is still Josh Allen. Tua is still trash. You know something? Take Tua and put him on the Vikings. He'd probably be just as bad, if not worse. And that's giving him Justin Jefferson, for crying out loud. Matt Stafford and the Rams, 9-2. Hello? Matt Stafford is still Matt Stafford. But I've been talking about him because I've called him Stud Darnold, for crying out loud. Sam Darnold, even though he threw 4 picks in a game, okay, he's Bizarro World Al Bundy. Because he didn't have 4 touchdowns in a single game. He had 4 interceptions in a single game. When was the last time he did this? I believe it was when he played for the Panthers or even the Jets. I knew he did it in the Jets. Can you have an off game? Sure. Can you have a bad game? Yeah. But looking at that schedule, that's where it's at. But again, going back to my initial point, because I've basically broken down teams that are thriving in certain adjustments with what they're doing. People who watch their teams. And if you notice, I'm not sitting here talking about the Patriots right now. I'm talking about the NFL as a whole. There are people who watch their teams, and they watch a monumental amount of strength, and they watch what they see as a structure base of what their team is going to be. The Chiefs think to the fact that they are untouchable. Well, between last year's crumble in the Super Bowl to this year's team kind of showing up 50-50, something's breaking down. That is not invincible. This is a team that should be jockeying for position with the Bills. They should be on top. The Colts should not be above them. The Broncos shouldn't be above them. And a lot of people sit there and, oh, it's Bizarro World. Yeah, no kidding. But again, everybody talked up the Raiders. Where are they? 2-9. Everybody talked up the Steelers for what they did. 6-5. This goes back to bringing the Patriots back on the table for a minute. This goes into the coach, the culture, the commitment, the 3 C's of being that team. Anybody who's anybody can literally sit there and say, we're going to be better. Show it on the field. Maybe it's Andy Reid. Maybe he needs to go into the sunset. That's 50-50. Patrick Mahomes is starting to see a decline. Called it. Sorry. It's this year. But it's the second time he's gone to a Super Bowl and lost. Who did he do it to first? Brady. At the beginning of the year, if you even think of this, at the beginning of the year, when the Colts won 2 games, it was stated to the fact that they were not real. They destroyed the Dolphins. They just beat the Broncos. They destroyed the Titans, but they lost to the Rams. Came back and destroyed the Raiders, and then blew out the Cardinals. People started thinking to the fact that they're playing soft teams. The Broncos aren't soft, but you beat them by a point. The Dolphins were crap. The Titans, like everybody says, is crap. You only lost to the Rams by a score. You blew out the Raiders, which, I mean, that's showing what it is. The Cardinals, even to themselves, that's saying it again. The Chargers, the Titans, the Steelers even beat the Colts. The Falcons, and then in overtime with the field goal, the Chiefs. If anybody wants to say to the fact that the Colts are not real, I say this a lot of times. The widow of Jim Irsay is now the runner of the team. She has a headset on. She's in on practices. She's in on games. She is down there listening to everything everybody is saying. She's a no-nonsense woman. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the Achilles heel for the Colts. Because she's paying attention to everything. That is a beautiful thing. Even looking at their schedule going forward, Texans, easy game. Jaguars, 50-50. Seahawks, ouch. 49ers, youch. Jaguars again, 50-50. Texans. That's at least 3 wins, maybe. So that'll bring them to 8, 9, 10, 11. You don't sleep on the Colts. The Colts are looking good. Kansas City is not. Kansas City, looking at their games, they lost against the Broncos. They beat the Colts. They lost against the Bills. They beat the Commanders. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Lions. They lost to the Jaguars. Okay, Lamar Jackson did play in this game. And the Chiefs beat the Ravens. The Chiefs beat the Giants. The Eagles beat the Chiefs. Hey, where have I seen that before? The Chargers beat the Chiefs. This is textbook 101 of things you can be looking at and going, oh, that's lovely. And by the way, I'll put an additional side note to this. The Giants are stupid. I'll say it. You're rebuilding. You know to the fact you're having issues. You're having issues with your defensive coordinator. You're having issues with your offensive coordinator. I don't think your issue is with your coach. But yet you dismissed Brian Daboll very easily. Yet you have Jackson Dart, who's probably going to come out and have a really good season next year. You have Cam Scatabo, who's Jesus Christ. Where he came from, who the hell knows? You have pieces like that you're now going to, and this is where everybody's going to come in and say, oh, well, you're putting a second year You're putting a second-year guy with a new coach and a new offensive coordinator and a new this. Is he going to be tainted? Oh my God. That's what you're basically going to hear. It's a wonder what you're also going to do with the Dolphins. Is Mike McDaniel going to end? Yes. I'm hoping so. Like I said, one of the things I looked forward to when I was watching games with Miami was I was watching it for Brian Flores. He was a great coach. And anybody who says otherwise, go look at times of Brian Flores being a coach in Miami. He and Mike Vrabel are similar on so many wavelengths. And he's one of the guys to come out of the Belichick coaching tree and have a positive influence on a team. Think about that. He had winning seasons, I believe, back-to-back in Miami. He built the culture that Mike McDaniel took over for. He built the presidencies for the roster to be where they were, to go forward for the Dolphins for multiple years. Only to lose it because he wanted to get rid of Tua. Could you imagine if, now picture this, Miami, 3 years ago. I know, I just Golden Girls to everybody. I don't care. Could you imagine if you did get rid of Tua Tagovailoa and you had 2 more wins on your docket and made the playoffs? Was that Brian Flores' plan? To me, yeah. Taking Tua away would have taken away the concussion protocols, would have taken care of probably some of the injuries, would have taken care of a lot of things that Tua does that you wouldn't have to rely on Tyreek Hill as much, Jason Waddle so much. You could utilize tight ends. You could utilize a lot of other pieces, your wide receivers, in a more pressing manner. But you're spreading the field. That now makes everybody a target. So you take the double team off of Waddle. You take the double team off Hill. That makes it dangerous. The Miami Dolphins were probably something you could put together and make it magical. But they decided to get rid of their coach. I probably could have seen Brian Flores winning not only, I don't want to say winning a championship, but winning some postseason games, you know, making relevancy to Miami again. But what do I know? Oh, wait. My prediction machine is starting to come true. Mike McDaniels is faltering. Daniel Jones is becoming a good quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is on a decline. Did I say all that? Why, yes, I did. I did say all that. It's amazing what somebody says and things that start to come to fruition. I don't say them because I want to say them, because a lot of people look at me and think I'm absolutely batshit crazy. I'm not going to lie, they're right. But gut, instinct, intuition doesn't make me crazy when a lot of things that I'm saying aren't just because I want to say it. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes had probably something that Brady did not have. A star-studded, all-star caliber team built around him that made him win. And now that the pieces to the kingdom are starting to come down, this year you're seeing where the Chiefs are left. Is Trevor Lawrence a good quarterback? No. Is he good? Sure. Is he good for fantasy? Sure. You know, I'm one who also believed in Mac Jones and looked at the systems he's in. And maybe it's true. Anybody who goes into Kyle Shanahan's offense is going to succeed. But there's something about the way Mac Jones executes in that manner. And by the way, having a Mac Jones-Kendrick Bourne relationship in San Francisco means to the fact that something was working in New England before Tweedledee and Tweedledum took over and ruined the offense. Because what did they do with Kendrick Bourne? They sat him. What did they do to Drake May? They watered him down. Because they wanted Zippy. Zippy Zap. Where everybody screamed, "Oh, give us Bailey Zappi! Give us Bailey Zappi!" You mean the interception machine? Bailey Zappi was not anything anybody was wondering, but you heard people scream about him. Of course, he was a fad. He was the Kool-Aid that everybody started to drink. Because your coaches did not believe in Mac Jones. Mac Jones wanted to succeed. He didn't want to fail. But you put him on a pedestal to fail. Your coaches put him on a pedestal to fail. It's written in black and white. You can't be any more scrutinous than that. But did Bailey Zappi prevail? He beat weak teams at the time. And then when he was faced with a challenge, he kind of like, you know, guys that don't take Viagra first, he had a little bit of issue getting it up. Where were you? You didn't show up. Whose fault is that? Well, let's look at Bailey Zappi. You suck. Okay? I'm not sitting here stating to the fact that you have to look at these teams and look at these quarterbacks. But when people sit there and say, "Oh yeah, this guy's garbage," I don't see them as garbage. I see them as somebody who's in a broken system, in somewhere that they don't belong. But if you put them in the right system and where they belong, Sam Darnold and the Vikings, monstrous year that year. J.J. McCarthy down, Sam Darnold blew up. And he looked like a super caliber quarterback, not a Hall of Famer. But he took the word good and made it great because he was playing great. He's now on the Seahawks playing some, yeah, I'll say it, he's playing some great ball. Did it work in New York? No. Because New York thought they got a failure. What did they do? I think I said this at one point I said this at one point going into a little bit of this. It was they drafted Sam Darnold. And from 2018 to 2020, he was supposed to be he was supposed to be the guy. Okay? Like he was supposed to be the everything. The brand new Chad Pennington, supposed to bring the Jets to the promised land. What did they do? They had Josh McCown, then they had Luke Falk, Trevor Siemian with Sam Darnold, and then they had Joe Flacco behind him. And then what did they do? They got rid of Sam Darnold, took their pick, and went after Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, who he is a quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. I don't even think he's had anything of a monumentous season in any which way, shape, or form. He's been trash. But this is what the Jets did. They didn't believe in Sam Darnold. They didn't give him tools. They didn't give him anything to work with. And this is what it's left with. That's sad. So Sam Darnold is now thriving. Look at the same thing with Daniel Jones. If I go to look up, I'm on Wikipedia right now. You also have to excuse me because I don't have anybody else to do this with me. It's just me. You had him on the Giants, you had him on the Vikings, and he's currently with the Colts. He had a winning season in 22, 9-6-1. And right now he's 8-2. He had 3,000 yards his first year. Close to 3,000 yards in 2020. 3,200 yards in 22. And he's on pace to go through 3,000 yards now. Because he has 2,600. If he does 200, what? Two more times? He can do 100 yards all the 5 games, and he still has over 3,000 yards. His first year, even though he was 3-9, he had 24 touchdowns. He also had a monumental amount of fumbles. He had 19. But this is everything he's done. His rating his first year was 87.7. In 22, 92.5. But then you see where the Giants went. 23, they went to 1-5. Under Daniel Jones. They went 2-8 because he played 10 games. So you're seeing the drop. Can he do it? 2022 says so. 2019 says so. 2025 says so. These are things when you look at people, what can they do? Let's go back to the Patriots. What can Mike Vrabel do for you? It's very easy. create a culture, create a winning environment, create stability, and create an atmosphere where people want to play again. That is the fear that the NFL has right now with the New England Patriots. This is year one of the Mike Vrabel experiment. People should be fearful of year two. They should again be monumentally feared in year three. Because it doesn't just go down. If you take Stephon Diggs out, the culture is adapted. It is in Drake Maye. He is the heart and soul of the team right now. You are adding Kayshon Boutte, Trevion Henderson, and everybody else that is a part of that locker room for the next 3 years. That is going to be a huge step in everything that you look at. That is what you want to see. That is why the NFL, that's why NFL fans, other team fans are sitting there watching Patriot videos. Go on TikTok. Go on, just Google fans watching Patriots games. They love when teams score against the Patriots first. They love when Drake Maye throws a pick. Drake Maye gets sacked. Guys drop the ball. Things don't happen. But watch them get bent out of shape when Drake Maye throws a perfect bomb downfield. Watch them have an attitude problem because Trevion Henderson blew coverage and went right down the field for a score. Not once, but twice. Watch them as they see Hunter Henry get touchdown after touchdown. Or come up on a fourth down drive. Not a fourth down drive. A fourth down conversion. Watch them get the third down conversion. Watch them have a wide open Patriot and Drake Maye scrambling in the pocket throws a perfect pass right to them. Of course the NFL is scared. Be a fan of the other team. Wouldn't you be? The one thing I have not heard anybody state is comparing Drake Maye to Tom Brady being Tom Brady 2.0. Thank God. But it is Drake Maye 1.0. And Drake Maye is making his own name for himself. I believe it's Drake Maye. That's his nickname. But this kid's coming out and making those statements. And he has help. He has help in Stephon Diggs, where he's helping the wide receiver core. He's basically not putting them below him. He's putting them on the pedestal with him. You guys are just as big as I am. And who's succeeding on it? Kayshon Boutte. A guy that, dropped in the draft because it didn't think anybody wanted him. And we took him. And he looks like a champion. Pop Douglas. Mac Hollins, of all people. That is a grinder right there. Williams, their rookie receiver, who's fast as fuck, boy. That man is quick. And the one thing I've noticed is he makes one catch per game. That is epic. It's always that one. He did it with the Bengals And I think he did it with the Buccaneers. This is a team that isn't just one person. It is built up of small pieces that are going to hit you in a way that you don't want to see. And the scary part, I will tell everybody, it's not made up of superstars. They don't have $25-30 million linemen. They don't have $25-30 million wide receivers that are your number ones that are making the difference. They don't have $35 million defenders. But they also have special teams. And that's the part that is making this team probably more than anything something people want to watch. That's what I want to watch. Watching the Patriots has become a absolute enjoyment because it's not heavy down with player after player that are fantastically built and signed. These are guys that they got drafted, they're playing. They're drafting again, they're playing. I think people are scared of Trevion Henderson because of what he's looking like. I think I made a joke to the fact that, like, is Ramondre Stevenson dead to the team now? Well, when he's the secondary back right now, yeah. It's horrible. Well, it's also what happens when you fumble. But think of it this way. Ramondre Stevenson fumbled a couple times. Did Mike Vrabel give up on him? Or did he believe in him to go out and do it? Of course, he did it again, and he had to revert to other manners because you got to hold on to that ball. This is the part of the team that believes in building. This is what a lot of life should be. If you have people in your life that can help you build stability, because that's what you want. The people that help you up and support you will always find ways for you to succeed. Welcome to New England Patriots life right now. This is the team. This is the monumental step that is making these strides. You can't take that away from them right now. They are the 10-2 AFC East first place leaders. And they're going to the playoffs. If anybody wants to call them soft, go right ahead. Show your jealousy. Am I saying they're a perfect team? No. They make mistakes. They make errors. They're human. But watch the team itself. Watch the interactions on the sidelines. I said one thing about Gerard Mayo when he was coach. If you look at the sidelines, he was sour fish. Even during good plays, he looked like a poor man's Bill Belichick. And I say that because when you break it down, he's younger and he's taking strides from Bill Belichick trying to be 2.0 when he shouldn't have. He had more of his game than he had his own game. He was trying to find his identity as a coach. It didn't work. I think Robert knew it. I think Jonathan knew it. The players knew it. Gerard knew it. But watch a game back to back. If you have a dual monitor, put one game from last year and one game from this year and watch the sidelines. Even watch a win. Gerard Mayo's body language. What spewed out of his lips was one thing. His body language screamed an entirely different aspect. That's what you got to watch. His body language to body language characteristics are what hurt him. And the reason why Mike Vrabel is the coach right now. The body language of the coach screams mountains upon what your expectation is. That's the sign of a good coach. That's the sign of a leader. Not a boss, not a coach guy that's going to yell and scream and holler at you, but someone who's going to hold you accountable. Someone who has just the same amount of moxie to take a star-studded insert position here and make them feel about this small, but make them work about this much. Mike Vrabel crushes egos while building the ego to work to everyone's advantage. That's what you gotta love about it. So if anybody wants to sit here and say the team is soft, sorry, don't believe it. Because a lot of those teams are supposed to be better this year. It's not our fault that they're playing bad. It's not our fault that they play like garbage. And it's not our fault that we're playing good ball. Stats are showing it. Don't get it twisted. I was supposed to do this for an hour, by the way. 48 minutes extra is... I think it's just been like so much of a time away that I just didn't know what to do. And when I'm looking at a lot of these things, and I'm looking at other teams and what they're growing, what they're doing, I've had this built up. And between internet issues and bad moments and internet issues, and you ever have a moment where you just don't want to get out of a chair and do what you're supposed to? Having those moments. It's like, ugh. I'm hopefully going to start getting this back on schedule. But I'm also going to do a couple different things. If you noticed also, you can go on YouTube. You can rewatch this. So if you're listening on a podcast and you want to see the video aspect of how I'm looking on it, go on YouTube, follow us there. I also went live on X. It's my first time doing that. I guess also I did it on YouTube, and not YouTube, Instagram, and you can only be live on Instagram for an hour, but then you have to reset it. It's like, oh. So I think at some point I got to take a 5-minute break, reset that, and get it back to where it needs to be, or just make sure my videos are an hour. Oh. But in all seriousness, I'm hoping that anybody does watch this. If you're an absolute Patriot hater, do yourself a favor. Just watch the games. Watch the sideline. Watch the body language. Watch the aspects. So anybody wants to say that where this team is succeeding right now, it's not that they're playing soft teams. It's their chemistry is blowing everybody out of the water, which is what you want. I can understand that. What about you? But I think I've taken up a lot of people's time and everything like that from here. So I'm basically going to call it a night because it's almost 3:30. This will be live soon at some point in the morning. So thank you all for listening. Please share. Let people know how I'm doing. If I'm doing something horrible, something crazy, something that you don't like, we've got a SpeakPipe. You can find us at Boston Concessions on SpeakPipe. Don't burp into the damn thing. Okay? I've had like multiple people do weak burps. Listen, I'm a fan of burps, bodily functions, and everything like that. I'll tell you, over the past couple days, I've also been sick where I scared my cat out of the room because I farted way too loud. And also, I didn't have broccoli, but oh my god, it bombed. So did my cat leave the room? Sure. Stuff like that. I'm gonna laugh. I'll be okay with it. I'll even put your burp on the friggin' air if it's gold. But when you give me trash, don't give me trash. And then when you continue doing it, thinking of the fact you're getting better at it, you're not. I just don't care when a troll walks in with bleh. I think one of them was even like, I think it was like an 8-year-old kid that just wasn't sure how to control his muscles in order to create that right burp that you want in every moment. It's like, yeah. Oh, it's like trash. But go give us love. I'm going to come back. Drake May for MVP. And Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year. Care what anybody says. That man is by far 9 out of 10 can't compete to the fact that he's Coach of the Year with everything he's taking on. This is the team that was also supposed to be in a quote-unquote rebuild. They were supposed to be at least a little better than what they were. 6-win team tops. They've +4 on their wins right now. They're already better than what they were last year. Personnel coaching explains it. Like I said, body language. It's all within what you look at. And look at me. I'm showing perfectly good body language for how I feel right now because I just did a wonderful video. And a lot of people go, yeah, you suck. That's fine. Just because I said no to you. But if I'm not back on, I'll probably be back on Monday, Sunday night maybe. So everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Spend it with your loved ones. Spend it with family. Spend it with the ones you care about. And give thanks to everything around you. From all of us here at Boston Concessions, which is basically just me and my largeness. We are, of course, Boston Concessions. We are an SSBN podcast. We are brought to you by the boys from Small State Big Network. Those beautiful bastards that are the Rhode Island favorites. And also to our wonderful man, Gilly. Steve, Scott, Ollie, Josh, wherever he may lay. I love you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. And I'll talk to you guys soon. And go Patriots. Patriots, not Patriots. Patriots. Go Pats. Take care, everybody.